Whether you are a new or a seasoned teacher, you probably go through those moments when you are not sure what to focus on when your language learners come into your classroom, because there are truly so many directions we can take. Well, hello dear ELL teaching colleagues, my name is Alona Green and I have been teaching English as a second language and Russian as a foreign language for over 20 years now. Today I would like to share with you my insight that ultimately has been helping me to answer the question, what do I do with my language learners of multiple proficiency levels in my ELL pull-out language development sessions? When we are learning a language, whether it's our native language or a second language or a foreign language, the two big goals of acquiring it is to, one, be able to understand a text, whether it's an oral text or a written one, and to be able to produce a text, again, whether orally or in writing. This understanding really helps me guide my curriculum. Of course, when it comes to newcomers, we're talking about foundational reading skills. We need to provide them with a pretty intensive instruction that helps them start decoding in no time. I am getting ready to post a video in which I share what I like to use with my newcomers and SLIFE students specifically. Now, if we're talking about students who are beyond the decoding and sight word instruction, we want to start exposing them to more difficult texts and to bring up their oral reading fluency. In this case, I recommend employing reading intervention strategies. My favorite book is The 6-Minute Solution, a reading fluency program. I do have a video and I will post a link below in the description box in which I am going over the main components and how I use it in my language development classes. Now, while we're working with our students on whether it's decoding skills or some reading fluency building activities, parallel to that, we want to work on various text structures. For this, I specifically like to use the Writing Revolution book. It teaches students to look at the structure at a sentence level and then a paragraph level and then at the structure of different texts. Another great resource to help your students acquire different text structures is Lexia Power Up. And of course, we are counting on our language arts teachers to cover these topics profoundly, perhaps better than we do. The Writing Revolution book is also a nice segue for me to bring in grammar instruction. Of course, grammar is the system, it's the skeleton of any language, and that's what sets languages apart and makes them sometimes difficult to learn if the grammar is very different from our native language. To help my older students acquire English grammar, I do like to have focused instruction using the English Grammar in Use books. I do have another video about that too. For the sake of making this video not too long, I'm just going to post a link below. Another resource again is Lexia Power Up is great with grammar instruction. I also like National Geographic's grammar student workbooks, but I didn't find them deep enough. I feel like our students need a little bit more drilling, and that's why I like to combine it with the English Grammar in Use. And of course, while we're focusing on teaching our students how to read, whether it's decoding or sight words, or going beyond that into bringing up their fluency rate as close to their grade level as possible, if possible, we also want to work on helping them acquire as much vocabulary as possible. The good news is that once they start reading texts that they understand, they're going to learn a lot of that vocabulary even without our special instruction. So we want to expose them to texts, for example, academic texts that they can access, because then they're going to be able to pick up some vocabulary. But also, we don't want to delay their opportunities to read something that's a little bit more challenging in terms of vocabulary and grammar structures. I love bringing in texts that actually pop up on my newsfeed and my Facebook. I also like going into New York Times resources to bring in those juicy texts that talk about real life news or real life situations, and of course, fine literature pieces too. In this case, you are going to need to provide more scaffolding in order for them to access the texts and to learn from them. For that, you are going to do some pre-text activities, while text activities, sorry if I'm not using the terminology right, and post-text activities to make sure that they have acquired as much vocabulary as possible, as much content, and then they also can talk about it. When it comes to writing skills, of course, all of the text work when we are reading it or when we are completing some grammar exercises or looking for grammar in some real life text talking about today's news in the world, it's all going to help them, right? But if you really want to provide a super intensive and targeted work when it comes to writing, the Writing Revolution book is your answer. Hopefully this is not too chaotic for you, and hopefully these two guiding answers teach them how to understand a text, whether it's a text in a phone, a label, or an academic text in a science textbook, and to produce a text. Again, whether it's writing a note to the principal or writing an argumentative essay, hopefully are going to make your life a little bit easier and to help you choose the focus of your instruction today, this month, or the year, or during your career of teaching English language learners. Thank you.